Hi, I'm Kyle Mitchell with Whitaker Brothers. I'm here with a very special product today. This is a Martin Yale 1711 fully automatic paper folder from Whitaker Brothers. And we're going to do something we don't normally do. We're going to go extremely in-depth with this review. We're going to hit 4 different sections here. We're going to give you an overview, and we're going to show you how the machine works. Then we're going to show you what cleaning it's like, and then finally I'm going to give my personal opinions on this paper folder, knowing everything else that's on the market, knowing what else is available. I'm going to let you know exactly where the Martin Yale 1711 belongs in that list. You can use the links below to speed up if you want to skip to a certain section, but otherwise, let's see what we got. Alright, so when it comes to paper folders, you've got 2 different categories. The first one is manual, and the second one is fully automatic. Now, manual does not mean that we're taking individual pieces of paper and we're folding them by hand. That's not what a manual paper folder means. Manual and fully automatic only relate to how we adjust the fold. Okay, so if it's a manual paper folder, we got to loosen up a screw right here, we move the fold plates, we tighten the screw. There's always going to be pictures on the side to help guide you, so it's not a difficult process. But for somebody who's never seen a paper folder, never used it before, it might be a little on the difficult side. So that's where fully automatic paper folders come in. The Martin Yale 1711 is fully automatic. So when I touch any of these buttons, these fold plates are going to move themselves. I don't have to make any adjustments other than touching the buttons on the front. Now the Martin Yale 1711 can carry a healthy amount of paper right here, pretty close to half a ream. It's also got an exit conveyor out the side, and it just kind of conveys all the paper onto the table. It operates at a speed of something in excess of 11,000 pieces. The reason we don't focus on speed for paper folders too much is because usually when you're folding paper, you're also going to be stuffing it into an envelope. And I guarantee you this paper folder is going to be 10 times faster than whatever envelope stuffing operation is going on. And finally, the last feature, which is fairly unique amongst the Martin Yale 1711, is going to be a multi-sheet feeder, which is found right here. I can take up to 5 sheets of paper, put them together, put them in the slot at one point, and just push the start button, and it's going to fold them as one set instead of individually. You can't find that on every paper folder. So instead of talking about it working, let's actually see it work. Alright, so we've done a lot of talking about the Martin Yale 1711, but let's see it work. This is my favorite part of the video. We've got the buttons up front. I already told you that they are going to automatically adjust the fold plates. So I'm going to make a small adjustment. You'll be able to hear the change. That's the top fold plate moving itself, and that was the bottom fold plate moving itself. So now there's only one thing left to do, and that's press go. So there you go. If we were on a smoother table, the exit would have been a lot smoother as well, but you get the idea. This machine functions very quickly. It adjusts itself automatically. It's also got the multi-sheet feeder right here, which I'm personally a fan of. So this will take up to 5 sheets at one time. We're going to do the exact same fold, and we're going to fold all 5 at once. So I'm going to put it into the multi-sheet feeder. Make sure it's collated properly. There we go. Makes a little more noise, but here you have it. 5 sheets all folded together. No problem at all. So if you're going to do a mailing, a multi-sheet feeder is going to be something that you want to invest in. But here at Whitaker Brothers, we pride ourselves on being a brick and mortar company. We're not just a pretty website. There's more to it. And one of those things we like to do is we like to break machines. And me personally, when I see a manufacturer that says that their multi-sheet feeder will only handle 5 sheets of paper at a time, nothing is more fun than trying to put 6 sheets of paper through at once. So I have no idea what's going to happen here. We've done this, and sometimes it's worked, sometimes it happens. And don't hold us to this, because manufacturer specs are the limits of the machine. But let's see what we can do. We're going to do the exact same fold. There we go. It was a little bit louder, but it looks like it handled it no problem. We got a perfectly crisp fold, and we got all 6 sheets of paper in here. Again, we guarantee what the manufacturer says it'll do. If you can manage to get 6 out of it though, then you're ahead of the game. So that's about it when it comes to running the paper folder. You load it, you push the buttons, you push go, and you walk away and it's done. Multi-sheet feeder is a little more attended, but it's still a much easier process than hand folding 5 sheets of paper at one time. So now that you've seen how it works, Let me show you what happens when it doesn't work. Alright, so Whitaker Brothers paper folders are fantastic, but they're not perfect. There are a lot of things that cause malfunctions in paper folders. Chief among them is going to be toner buildup. So when you print out your documents, the toner on those is still wet, the paper's still hot, it's loaded with static. All those things are bad news for a paper folder. If we just fold regular white unprinted paper all day long, this thing would probably last forever. But that's just not the case. So I'm going to show you how cleaning it works. Also, what happens when you get a jam. We'll start with a jam. There are little screws with wires right here on the back that we take out. Now when you first get the paper folder, you're going to have to put them in, so you'll be pretty familiar when it comes to take them out. But when you want to remove a full plate in order to get access to the paper path, this is what you're going to have to do. And then we lift up and pull out, and it's a piece of cake. Now we have access to most of the feed tires. It's not perfect access, but it's we have pretty good access. Usually you'll be able to reveal the paper that's inside just from this step. You might have to go to the next step, which is going to be removing the lower full plate. So again, I'm going to pull out the plug, lift up, and pull the full plate. Now we have access to almost all of the paper path. And that's going to be good. Any kind of jam that you've got in here is going to be revealed by doing those two steps. But if you want to clean the rollers using roller cleaner, which is, we'll talk about that later, but it's an essential step, we're actually going to have to take 2 screws off. Now this is not rocket science. I am not very handy, but I can do this. I'm going to remove 1 screw. Remove the second screw. And all we've done is allowed ourselves to take off the multi-sheet feeder cover. Now we can see every inch of the paper path. And if we wanted to clean the rollers, we could do it very easily. We have 360-degree access to one roller, about 180 degrees of access to both the other rollers. No problem, you just advance them a little bit to get the other half. Now, taking care of a paper folder, you're going to need some things that you don't really find around your office. And since paper folders in general don't cost that much money, we created a special kit. This allows you to do some of the important maintenance of the paper folder on your own without having to call in a technician. Why? Because calling in a technician may cost $200 or $300, and if you spend, that may be half or maybe even 1/3 of the cost of the actual paper folder itself. So you're kind of wondering what's the point. And so with that in mind, we created a special kit. This is the Whitaker Brothers Roller Cleaner Kit. The best part about it is it's got roller cleaner. We simply take this, pop the top off, we spray it on the fold rollers, and then we wipe it up. And that's going to remove a whole lot of black soot, and that's your toner. That toner will cause slipping, eventually it'll cause decay of the fold rollers. But if you're running paper and you're seeing hesitation or you're seeing jams, especially in the early days, it's very likely you just have a toner buildup. It comes right off, you just got to make sure you use the right stuff. You can't just use alcohol, because that'll dry these things out to the point that they crack. We give you a few other things to make your life easy too. We give you an applicator. This is going to allow you to wipe off the toner, and it's not going to instantly absorb all of it and then be worthless. That's why it's a sponge. It's so that we can actually absorb a lot of the toner. If you just use a paper towel, you're going to get 1 layer of toner. That's the extent of it. This is important. We've got a set of gloves. This is just to keep your hands clean because, let's face it, removing toner is a bit of a dirty job. And finally, we have a backup primary drive wheel. Now this is important because the first thing that fails on your paper folder, assuming you've kept the toner off of it, is going to be this primary drive wheel. The one that's on this machine is located right here, which we'll show you in a close-up a little later. But once this primary drive wheel goes, most people just replace their paper folder. But if you've got a Whitaker Brothers maintenance kit, you don't have to do that. You can buy a little bit more time. So I'm going to put this thing back together, and then I'm going to show you my personal opinion, my personal review of this paper folder. So where does the Martin Yale 1711 stand amongst all the paper folders out there? There's a couple things for you to notice. First of all, the price. You just can't get a fully automatic paper folder at this price point anywhere else on the market. Generally, fully automatic paper folders are going to be in the $2,500 to $3,000 price range or higher. This comes in at lower than that, and that has to be said because there are no compromises in other places. You might be thinking, well, you know, this is so much less expensive than everything else out there. They've got to be cutting corners elsewhere. And frankly, I would love to tell you that they are, but this is metal. There's a plastic shell to it, but otherwise it's metal. Our service records show that this paper folder is just about as good as any other paper folder when you're above $1,000. When you get below $1,000, things can get a little questionable. When you're above $1,000, you're in a commercial grade paper folders, and this is just as good as the others in terms of durability. If I had to have some complaints, I think the exit doesn't work perfectly. If you're on a smooth table, it's going to come out very, very well, very efficiently, and you'll be able to collect everything very cleanly. The reality is, though, is that doesn't always happen. The solution is just to kind of attend it on the back end. It doesn't take more than 3 or 4 hands, or 2 or 3 hands, 1 or 2 hands in the right place, and you can gather everything up perfectly, because up until this point, it evacuates perfectly. It's easy to take apart. The adjustments are pretty self-explanatory. We sell these things. We don't normally have people call up needing advice on how it works, because once you've got the fold plates plugged in, you just push a few buttons, you've got the fold you want. That's all there is to it in terms of being a paper folder. In other areas, it's exactly the same as most others. It's got the same adjustments. It's got a skew adjustment. You can do custom folds. There is no way to save a custom fold. So if there's a special fold that you do all the time, there's no way to put it in the memory. Once you leave that custom fold and go back to one of the regular folds, it'll forget it forever. And that can be a drawback, but frankly, most people aren't doing their own cockamamie folds. They're just doing the standard letter fold, half fold, Z fold, something called double parallel and gate fold. And frankly, it's mostly the first 3. People aren't doing double parallels or gate folds very often. So that's my personal opinion of the Martin Yale 1711. Fantastic price point, just as good as any other paper folder out on the market. And I think it's a great buy for anybody who wants a fully automatic paper folder. My name's Kyle Mitchell with Whitaker Brothers. This has been our most in-depth review yet of the Martin Yale 1711. Thanks for watching.